Hi, it's Saturday, May 18th, 2024, and this is Alan Zundel with Political Dharma. On my last episode, I said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was on track to be included in the official presidential debates. This week, the big news is that the Biden and Trump campaigns have agreed to stage two presidential debates, but outside of the official Commission on Presidential Debates schedule. The question is whether Robert F. Kennedy is going to be included in either of those debates. And that's what I'm talking about today. So on Monday, the Biden campaign released a short video with Biden challenging Trump to a debate. It was a rather juvenile video, I thought, with him trying to act tough as though they're entering a boxing match or something. And there's a lot of editing in that video. Each particular sentence, there is a cut afterwards, and I'm wondering whether he had trouble getting through the whole short statement without those cuts. But by Wednesday, the two campaigns had settled on the terms of the debate. The first debate will be held in June, which is very early for a presidential debate schedule. They're scheduled for June 27th on CNN, and then the second one on ABC, September 10th. Now, the Biden campaign made it clear that they didn't want or expect any other candidates other than Biden and Trump to be included in the debate, but both CNN and ABC indicated that if a candidate met the criteria that had been set by the official Commission on Presidential Debates, they would be included. And then Trump said that he'd be okay with that as well. So the question now for me is whether RFK will actually meet those criteria, and if he does, or at least he seems to, whether they will honor their word to put him in the debates. Okay, so the requirements are to get 15% or better in national public opinion polls. Several polls, the average, I guess, over several. And it seems like Kennedy could be on track to doing that if he gets enough attention, particularly by September, if not in June, but he's a good chance of meeting it in June as well. And then to be on the ballot in enough states to get a hypothetical majority in the Electoral College, which be enough states to get the magic 270 electoral votes, which would be the bare majority of the votes. So he asked them to be in the June debate. He would have to meet those criteria by June 20th, the Thursday before the debate. And as of last week, as I said in my episode, he had met the criteria to be on the ballot in 13 states, which gave him 181 electoral votes, or would give him 181 electoral votes if he won in each of those states, all those states. I said last week 180 electoral votes from those states, but I made a mistake, which was that I included Nevada, but I didn't include Oklahoma for some reason. Now, Nevada, they gathered enough signatures, but there's a question of whether they're going to be on the ballot because he didn't have his vice presidential candidate listed on his submission forms, hadn't picked his vice presidential candidate yet. So that's up in the air. I guess there's a lawsuit going on. So I didn't include Nevada, but I included Oklahoma. Difference of one electoral vote between those two states. So 13 states with 181 electoral votes. But yesterday, the Kennedy campaign announced that they also got enough signatures to get on the ballot in New Jersey, which gives them another 14 electoral votes, bringing the total to 195 electoral votes. New Jersey was a particularly easy state to get enough signatures in because they only required, put it on a different sheet of paper, 100 signatures required to get on the ballot in New Jersey. That's probably why they got that one in early. Other easy states would be Tennessee and Louisiana. In Tennessee, he only needs 275 signatures to get on the ballot there. And in Louisiana, they can opt to pay a fee of $500, both of which would seem to be very easy for the campaign. So I'm assuming they'll be able to get those in as well by the time of a June 20th deadline. So Tennessee would give them 11 electoral votes and Louisiana 8 electoral votes, which would then bring the total to 214 electoral votes. And then they have deadlines for getting signatures coming up in several states in the next month. The first one would be New York on May 28th, and they say they're on track for that. They should get 28 electoral votes from that. Montana, on June 3rd, I believe, has 4 electoral votes. Illinois on June 24th would have 19 electoral votes, and New Mexico on June 27th would give them 5 electoral votes. So my assumption is the Kennedy campaign is already working in those states, New York, Montana, Illinois, and New Mexico, because the deadlines are coming up next month. My assumption would be they would probably get in a few days early, and the two that have a little bit later deadlines on the 24th and the 27th to meet the June 20th deadline. So if they get those 4 states, in addition to the 2 easy states that I mentioned, that would bring them to the magic number, 270 electoral votes. So there's a very good chance that the Kennedy campaign will be able to get meet the requirements for being on the ballot in enough states to get the 270 electoral votes they would need to have a hypothetical majority. And if they can keep their poll numbers up to 15% or above, that would mean they could qualify for that June debate. Now, would they actually be accepted by CNN and the 2 candidates? I think they would likely try to pull a fast one and say, well, those states haven't actually certified those signatures and officially said that they would be on the ballot. Of course, that would be impossible to do in some of those states, many of them probably, because they don't count the signatures and they're not going to do certification until later after the deadlines for gathering signatures have passed. So if they do that, it will be a pretty see-through excuse. And RFK could make a lot of hay about complaining about that, I would think. And maybe Trump would also say, bring them in. Put it on Biden's shoulders as the one responsible for keeping them out. I don't see why CNN would object, because if they said they have to meet criteria and it's impossible to meet those criteria by the deadline, what's the point, right? So maybe a good chance of getting in the June debate, but certainly by September, the September 10th debate, I would think RFK could meet the criteria. Certainly for the number of electoral votes they would need to have, and probably to have higher public opinion polls. So looks pretty good for them being in a national debate, televised, broadcast around in a lot of different places. Okay. Also, it came out in the news that Nicole Shanahan, his vice presidential pick, had donated another $8 million to the campaign to get them on the ballot, to pursue their ballot access efforts. This was back in April last month and just was reported recently. So they should have plenty of money to meet those criteria, and get into the debates. All right. Only other thing I have this week is I want to remind you that the Libertarian Party's National Convention is next weekend from Friday, May 24th through Sunday, May 26th. And it should be broadcast live on C-SPAN as well as the Libertarian Party YouTube channel. Points of interest, if you're interested in former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, he'll be speaking on Friday night at 8 o'clock after the Libertarian vice presidential candidates for the nomination have had their debate. Their debate is a little earlier, and then Vivek is debating someone or all of them, I guess, afterward. Not sure how that works. RFK is on their schedule for Friday afternoon, 3:30 to 4:30. That's Pacific time out. No, that's DC time, East Coast time. So it'll be later here on the Pacific Coast. And then Trump is scheduled to speak from 8 to 10 in the evening of Saturday after their presidential candidates debate, which is from 6 to 7:30 on Saturday. Still no word on whether they've set up a debate between Trump and RFK. Somehow I'm not expecting it, but you never know. So keep that in mind as well. I'll be trying to check in and see what it is, and then report to you afterward, okay? thanks a lot again for listening. If you like these videos, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you can afford to give a little donation to keep this going, you can go to the politicaldharma.com website and donate through the secure PayPal link there. That's it for this week, and looking forward to seeing what this summer brings. Bye.